road again. I'm headed to my first recruiting trip. It's in New Jersey, and I'm pretty excited. All right, I'm all changed and ready to go. So that was pretty much the weekend. It was good, a great experience. Then at some point, one of my colleagues asked if they could be on the vlog. And I took this opportunity to ask her about her coaching experience. And I asked several people, some on camera, some off camera, for advice. You know, this is my first year coaching, and I wanted some insight and some advice. So here's what some of them had to say. A special thank you to everyone I spoke with. Your words and advice are much appreciated. Could you just tell me, like, some advice that you would give yourself or a first-year coach?
My biggest concern when I first started coaching was being a perfectionist. I never wanted to do anything wrong, and I was afraid to mess up all the time, that I would get in trouble by my head coach or she wouldn't think I was doing a good job. And whether it was like teaching skills, I was thinking so much about it, and I'd get so nervous, or email response to like players or whatever it may be. I was always so nervous, and I think it took extra time for me to get comfortable, and I think that was the biggest like downfall at times, is I was so hard on myself. Instead of enjoying the experience and gaining that knowledge and learning, I was worried about impressing everybody else instead of just being myself. And I think once I became myself and became more calm about it and realized everybody's gonna make mistakes, head coaches still make mistakes, everybody does, then I was able to feel more relaxed and not so stressed out, and get into the groove of coaching and actually enjoy it and have fun. So.
Any advice to your past self or first year coaches?
Yeah, some great advice, and I think some things I've always learned. One, I've always been able to be around really great people who allowed me to learn and grow. I think advice I'd give myself as a former assistant coach, or advice I give assistant coaches, is it's okay to say you don't know what to do or you don't know how to do something. And the other thing along with that is it's okay to say if you haven't done it yet, because sometimes your timeline and when you think it's to be versus the head coach. So I think just working on that communication and listening. I would also tell myself to be more patient with myself and not expect to know everything, because I think there's a whole side to coaching that has nothing to do with X's and O's. And it's about managing people, it's about developing relationships, and I've learned that it's more important who I work for than where I work. So those are some things that I would maybe send back to myself.
Moving up in coaching, you know, most assistant coaches want to see themselves be a head coach. What would you say, like, keys to look for, skills to develop?
Yeah, I think everybody's journey is different there. I can tell you I never wanted to be a head coach. I used to be like, oh, not having any of that. You know, I don't want to be in that chair. And then as things and time, continued, I learned, hey, I think I can do that. So I think, for one, you do have to have a passion to want to do that. I think one of the biggest things you have to appreciate and understand is that what other people think of you is none of your business. Meaning, as long as you're consistent to yourself and the person you are, you can't please everyone. And being a head coach at any level program, high school, club, division 1, 2, 3, you cannot please 20 plus women and coaches. So it's about relating to them and letting them know that trust and communication and putting them first really does occur. They don't always see it that way. I think when you're consistent as a coach, you gain credibility. One of the biggest things I think coaching, especially as maybe a modern coach, I wouldn't say that, I mean, I've been doing this a while, is understand the administrative side. There's a lot of admin, there's a lot of compliance. Understand that more. Just as you probably go to a compliance officer or you go to an academic advisor, you should want to have your hand in all those duties as well and familiarize yourself. You may find out you have a knack for something in an administrative vein. Again, I think 90% of what I do has nothing to do with X's and O's. And when I'm able to get those other things done admin-wise, or plan ahead, or prepare and turn things in on time, I'm able then to do the thing I really love, and that's the coaching part. And the time, spending time with the players. I would tell a lot of assistant coaches, those relationships, they really matter. So I try to spend, and it'll start again this season in the spring, and that's when I think the season really starts the fall, is I'll try to catch up with, out of a returner group of 17, 3-4 kids a day. Nothing to do with field hockey. Nothing, just getting to know them and relate to them and keeping that communication and that relationship. To me, recruiting is a relationship. How I treat someone now is how I'm going to treat them, you know, when they leave my university. That's not how I first learned how to recruit. Some of my maybe skepticisms, criticisms, observation of coaches today, especially in field hockey, I don't think we're preparing young assistant coaches at all. I don't think the head coaches are giving them the information they need, the guidelines they need, not so much boundaries, but just like, this is your role, this is what teaching is, this is what this means, this is what you prepare. You know, I might ask my assistant coach to do this, 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 and because she might be doing it differently than I thought, doesn't mean it's not right. So I think you also have to allow that freedom for the assistant coach to have a voice. And I think the assistant coach should want to have a voice. So I think there's just, I think we should prepare assistant coaches better to grow into the game. It's not about getting that best kid. To me, I can define recruiting very simply. I don't need the best kids. I don't need the polished kids. I need the right ones. I need the right ones for my institution academically first. And that makes everything I do recruiting fall in place for me. So I think we really need to help some assistant coaches and head coaches. There's a lot of young Division I, Division II, Division III head coaches that I think we can serve as a resource. By no means do I know everything, because I certainly don't. I keep learning all the time. I have 20 plus women that help me learn every day. But I think in our game, there can be a shared communication that doesn't always occur to help develop young people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really
You're welcome,
really
my love.
appreciate you.
I mean, snow is snow, right? I mean, it's only gonna get worse.
Just to slam on the brakes, but don't.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know? Like, do you know
You
what
just
I'm
got
saying?
smarter.
Whoa, that's a deer that just walked past. Okay. This is gonna be a long drive home.
But
I think we need snow tires. We now live
but I drove
in Boston.
Boston.
We need snow tires. I feel very strongly that we need snow tires.
You're incorrect.
You should look on Groupon and see if there's like a thingy thing
Oh,
where we yeah.
negative.
You're being intransigent.
I'm being what?
That's right.